In association with Leeds Spirits. I'm Matty.
Hello, I'm Colin.
How are you doing this evening, Colin?
All right, mate. Aye, not bad. Just
Better or worse than you were when we did extra time an hour ago?
an hour ago. Um, Better, I think, because I can see the end of the day now. I can see that we're nearly at the end of this recording schedule.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep, yep.
Right, I had put a tweet out earlier on to say there was no game to talk about, and of course there was a game to talk about today. The Hibs ladies beat Rangers 2-0, I think. Was it 2-0, 2-1,
Two
two
now. Aye,
nothing?
Hibs women. Aye,
Aye. Uh, which is a cracking result. You
Mhm.
know, you're closer to the ladies' game than I am. What does that mean for them?
Top of the league.
Happy days.
Back top of the league. So that was the team that pumped them in the cup final just a few weeks
Hmm.
ago. And they beat them fairly comfortably today. I had it on. I was watching it. Sort of in between cooking dinner and that. Um, Looked like they deserved to win to me. Aye, great result, top of the league again. Two youngsters on the bench as well from the academy.
And I couldn't help it. Hibs tweeted out the score of the second goal and just put Papa. I had to reply Nicole, which if you're of a certain vintage, you would have got.
Mhm. Aye,
You
definitely.
know.
What age do you reckon? 40? 40 plus? I think you'd be a bit younger than that.
Uh, well, it would have been the 90s, I think. Yeah.
Was it?
So I think so. Nicole Papa. Because Vicky Bob did a
Mm.
spoof at one point uh, as
Yeah.
well, I'm sure. But anyway, if you got the reference, good. If you didn't, that's what it was. It was a wee Renault advert from back in the
Aye.
day. I wasn't taking the piss at anybody, just in case. I was worried before I sent it. I was like, wonder
I
the
think
folk
there's
I think
something.
I'm taking the piss, eh? And I
Nah,
wasn't
no.
really. I couldn't resist it.
That was funny when I seen it. But I know, back to that though, that is them just checking, they're back to the top of the league. I'm just going to check the table. Um, 2 points clear at the top, which is good because it dropped points. We obviously lost the derby last weekend. I say
Mm.
obviously, we lost the derby last weekend after going 1-0 up. But now it's like there's six. It's a top six split,
Yep.
but the top five are all really they're pretty much the full time teams. So that's how the rest of the league. You know, you look at the goal differences. These are the best teams now playing each other than Motherwell. I was going to say in Hearts to some extent, but they beat us last week, so you know they can match the teams as well. So play each other home and away, which is a bit different to the men's split, where you just randomly get selected away to St Mirren for a third time in that.
Yeah.
So it's a wee bit different, but they play each other home and away. So there's still a few games to go, but aye, they're doing well.
Aye, cracking result. What we were going to talk about tonight. So one of the things that we picked up was the player of the season voted by the players. So that came out. We'll cover that. No Hibs players in it, so we'll have a look through and see whether we think that's justified or
Aye, we're
whether.
green tinny specs off.
Aye. Well,
Yeah,
that's. Do you know what the funny thing is when it came out, uh, and there was a bit of chat about it, and folk getting a wee bit upset, and I thought, I wonder if it's reflective of us having like the team's better than the sum of its parts. Like one of these seasons where there's maybe no
yeah,
standout that would go in like as a
yeah.
league best.
And
I think it's
also, when's the vote? When do they vote? Do they vote in January? Do they vote in February? You know, I don't know. Sometimes they vote really early because trying to get players to bother their arse to fill the form in.
aye.
I think they go early. I'm sure I've read that before. You know, you get a player of the year, like the individual award, and sometimes go, I bet it was brilliant for August to December, and they get the
Aye.
forms in January to fill them in by February.
So we'll have a look at that as we go. We also went out on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Hibees Bounce and Hibs.net for talking points, as well as Patreon, which is where we will start this evening. A couple of comments already on YouTube as well. Chris, evening boys, green tea, evening guys. And Oscar Wilde Outdoors said, happy today. Been a great weekend. It has indeed been a very good weekend for a number of reasons. Um, Good evening to everybody tuned in. So if you want to join in the chat, feel free to just stick stuff in the comments, and we'll pick it up as we go as well. We'll be on till about 9 o'clock. So whatever you want to talk about, it's your agenda as much as it is ours. Right, Ian Mackay was the one on Patreon. Ian said, "How many former Hibs players can you get on a pitch at one time and not have Hibs playing?" That Falkirk Rovers match yesterday was brilliant, and we have to hope Wraith can get in the playoffs and come up with Falkirk. So Falkirk, I think we're winning. I think it was two nil or 1-0 going
No.
into the last couple of minutes, and then Wraith scored, then Paul Hanlon scored, and then they got a penalty. Dylan Easton scored, and it finished 3-1 to Wraith all in the dying minutes. But obviously, Paul and Lewis would have been involved there. I think
Jamie Cullen.
Sean Mackay, Jamie Gullen would have been involved as well. So quite a lot of former Hibees on there. Do you know if there are any other clubs with a particularly high proportion of former Hibs players in them?
Because did they had Stanton as well? He left
Oh, I starting left, yeah.
at the start of the season. Because I was thinking that at one point. I watched the Wraith Rovers game at the start of the season when Hibs were only playing. I was watching it on the telly. I did think, like, how were they just taking all your ex? I was going to say, I know said it would have been really harsh, but sort of our ex players.
Yep, I
Um,
can guess.
I'm just looking at. So Mackie was playing for Falkirk. Um, Arfield was playing for Falkirk. Here's one I would have liked to have been an ex-Hibs player. He would have been a good signing.
He's done well at Falkirk since he's gone in
Mm,
as well. I think
yeah,
you would have Dabrowski would have been another one that would have played,
yeah, yeah. He
but
wasn't playing
I
yesterday.
think he's out of favour now.
Yeah, and they've got Bon
Um,
up front, who's Porty boy.
who was that?
Porty boy. Bon up front is a
Oh,
Porty
aye.
boy at Sports Hibs, but he'd never played for Hibs, other than maybe in the youth teams.
So I always how do you feel about players when like former players when you see them? Do you look out for them or are they dead to you?
Well, it depends who they are. Like, but even the ones that are that you would maybe want to class as dead to me, I watch them and hope that they're fucking shite wherever they go as well. Like I followed Matt Doherty's career with a lot of voodoo pins in his doll for years. I hated that cunt. But aye, I mean Wraith Rovers, none of the laddies have done any harm. You know, like, certainly Stevenson and Hanlon haven't they? The others have just been youth players maybe that never made it properly.
Yeah,
We've got fucking plenty of them as we've discussed before on here. So you always kind of hope that they go on and do well.
and of course a former Hibs player involved in probably our worst result of the season as well, which was Scott Allen for Celtic Hearts right at the start of
Mm,
the
of
season.
course. Yeah.
I always want former Hibbies to do well, really, unless
Yeah.
they've done something that's really like,
Aye,
can't,
that's what I mean.
aye,
Yeah.
unless it's something that's really pissed us off. But there aren't loads of them like that. I always kind of hope that they go on and do good things.
Yeah. That
Um,
laddie up front, Gullen, like he was like, we've always got somebody in the youth team that bangs loads of goals. Like we've already
aye,
lost two in recent years to Brentford B and to West Ham, fucking C or whatever he went to. But now we've got and then there's him before it, and now we've got another lad who scored 40 goals this season in the under 18s. You know what I mean? It's like, and they never ever make the breakthrough, but they always watch where they go. They go after.
aye. Uh, Stevie says, evening all, Hearts losing is fabulous. And where's my shield, Matty? What shield was that in relation to? Do you know?
You asking me?
Oh,
Hmm?
no, I know what he's been in. Stevie's the wee badge you get on YouTube.
Oh, members.
Yeah, Stevie, you signed up to Patreon. So on Patreon, you didn't get a badge. If you join the YouTube members, you get a badge. The two slightly different things, but I get what you're meaning now. So green tea has the wee shield next to her name. Stevie doesn't, but if you join Patreon, you didn't get it. YouTube, you do. We can't do anything about that. So that's why, Stevie. I understand what you're meaning, but you didn't get it there. Unless
Mhm.
I can figure out how to do it, in which case I'll sort it. Chris said, does anybody follow the career of McCurdy now? Is he still mints? So I think McCurdy
Somebody said
start
he scored in a
he
group chat
scored.
we're in. Yeah.
Aye, he has scored since leaving Hibs, so maybe the move has done him good. He was one that got a lot of stick, but I never feel like it was his fault. Do you know, like he
No.
just did they cut it? He's one of these
Aye.
things, eh?
Took a chance on it, and you know what? He's one of the ones. Mind I've spoke about it before, the hype thing, and I think sometimes as fans we hype it up. The club have been at danger. They've definitely caused that in the past
Hmm.
with the like getting phone calls for fucking Alex Ferguson asking me how I never I was wanting him at Man United. That kind of chat that we've had, and that builds the perception up or the expectations up around the player. And I mean, McCurdy was we better sign him, deadline day stuff,
Aye,
blood on hands or Kensel's hands if he doesn't sign him and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So then everybody's like, this boy must be good. And just never, I mean, he was ill, like,
yeah.
and then, but So we're at fault ourselves, like for building up that expectations in our own mind. I think.
Right, Hibees bounce. We got one from Bangkok Hibby. Said, here's one. As someone who's never been on kickback, who has Hearts supporting friends, who always calls them Hearts and not some other weird name, it struck me that during my time on .NET and here on the bounce, I've seen a regular flow of posts ridiculing their so-called obsession with us. Are we not just as bad? Discuss.
Yes, we are. It's a different kind of ridicule, I find, though. But then they would probably say the same. I find the ridicule. My ridicule for them is, well, I was just delight that they lost again. But the ridicule comes when as they're so arrogant with their
Mhm.
beliefs that I just love like chopping them back down to size. Like, well, we'll see it when we finish third and we take the Scottish Cup to take your European place off you and all that stuff, or Derby
Aye,
record. And you look at the Derby record in the last 20 years and you go, we're about even. Or I was listening to the Hibees Buzz earlier and they were rattling off Boyle's Derby record as well as Iredale's never lost a Derby. He's never drawn a Derby, right?
yep.
But there's only two. But Boyle's played in a load of derbies and he's up. Migok was level over his time, and it's like it was like a statistical anomaly where they gained this Derby, um, the golf and the
Like
Vince.
superiority for a while. Aye,
Aye, and it was fucking 30, 40 years ago. And that is purely what they throw at us, something that happened 30, 40 years ago. But it makes us as a fan base feel more negative in a derby and more worried towards the end of a game. And that was all because of the 80s and 90s being so shit.
Alec Miller, pretty much.
Because it's actually been fairly even. Like my
Yeah,
daughter's 22 and it's pretty much even over her, same age as Josh, and it's pretty much even over their life. Or give or take.
aye.
It's even folk yesterday firing off to you about
Devlin.
the boy that got Devlin's Derby record, just assuming it's got to be up. It's like it's about even over the games we think he's playing, and you think, well, why would you automatically? They automatically project that and create that
Mhm.
perception, and they just talk shite.
And aye, I think his one, he had the benefit of being dropped for some of the ones that we won as well.
Mhm.
Again, just like he was at the club, but didn't he play in the games?
It's a 15, 20 year period for 30, 40 years ago that's created that,
Aye.
and it's no been the case for the last maybe even pushing 30 years.
I don't think we're any more obsessed, and probably the same for them as any other rivals. Like if you were to go, like look at Rangers and Celtic, they talk about each other all the fucking time. Like I showed you earlier on, like shared the tweet with you, a boy had been sitting on a bookmark tweet for 6 years,
Mm,
Celtic fan, ready to
mm.
bring it up against
They're incredible.
against Rangers. Like I
Six
mean,
years.
6 years.
That is
That
dedication.
that is like a long time to sit on it
Mm.
to fire it off. We obviously had some fun with the bookmarks over the last couple of weeks, but the same as you, Colin. I think the difference with us, and I like to think we certainly as a podcast, I don't think we ever shout about what we're going to do. Like we're
Aye,
never
that's the
going to
difference.
say,
That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
"Aye, we're not going to feel like you'll not catch us saying we're going to get third." Like so, we might do the predictions. Like we just
Aye.
recorded extra time. Um, just subscribers episode. We're looking at the top five fixtures, and we might predict we win some games. And what does that mean for us? And where would we finish? But we didn't go at the start of the season. Like we had a boy while Hearts were bottom of the league, saying they were going, we'll finish above you. Confident we'll finish above you.
Yeah.
Challenge him. Said, what's that based on? Based on pretty much everything was his response.
Yep.
Bottom six. You know what I mean? Like they didn't beat us this season. Our DMs and our replies are full of fucking stuff like that for them. That where they're just
Yeah.
talking about X, Y, and Z that they're going to do or they have done, making up stuff to suit themselves,
Mhm.
ignoring actual facts, and then we just take the piss out of them when it goes wrong,
That's right.
which I don't think is a
I,
bad thing at all. Like I think
I,
that's what they're there for, in my opinion.
yeah.
They're there for us to take the piss out of, pretty
Before
much.
the last derby, the one we won again, Hearts had won. So Hearts have won one of the last 8 Edinburgh derbies. We've won as many league derbies as Hearts this past decade. And David Gray's only lost 2 games that he's participated in as player or manager in a derby.
Who's been here for a decade, pretty much.
26.
Is that about
Yeah,
right?
20. Aye. Yeah.
Aye. So
Yeah. So So where does their arrogance and belief come from? It comes from the 80s and the 90s, what their dads and their granddads maybe tell them about.
Aye, Crookie88 says this on YouTube. Says my dad blames Alec Miller for a bad derby record, and it was. I mean, it was particularly grim through that time. If you were to point to it for our generation, like it was fucking dire. But aye, like our kids, well, Josh isn't bothered going to derby. He's not like, oh fucking hell, they'll always fluke a goal against us. He's like, ah, fuck that, we'll beat them. Like we're as capable of beating them as they are of
That's right.
beating us.
And we need to start, and that's not like twisting any stats or anything. That's just saying, well, there's the record that's happened. Like, start believing a bit more.
Aye,
Stop listening to them. They're telling you how much better they are. I think
aye,
even for place finishes and that over the last 20, 30 years, there's hardly a fucking any difference in it. Cup wins, like, it's like one more than that. And the way they go on, it's as if
aye,
like
like
they've
a huge
been
golf.
Europe for 20 years or something. It's
Aye,
not, we're not talking fucking Liverpool and Everton here or anything, or Arsenal and Tottenham. Like, it's fucking, like, pretty much even if you take out, like, to use their way, using the stats, if you take the 20 years of games out, we're probably up.
aye. Um, Aye, it has been fun. Like I mean, I definitely enjoyed yesterday, but they got some twisting the narratives going on as well, Colin. Like Hearts talking up their performance and everything. This is a team that they went down to 10 men and just fucking parked the bus. Went, I would no bother trying to win it now.
Aye.
And you hear them talking at the end, saying, "No, the players would have deserved penalties." As if the sort of the spin is we would have won if it went to
Aye.
penalties. No, no. Penalties, Aberdeen have got the exact same chance as Hearts of winning when it goes to penalties. It's not like we never got to a cup final because we never got to penalties. You've never got to a cup final because you fucking shat the bed. Your captain shat it for taking a penalty. Your keeper's scored their own goal and chucked another one in. Your star midfielder's got himself out of taking a penalty by getting sent off just before the end of the game. Your manager's not giving a fuck about trying to win the game as soon as it's gone down to the 10 men.
No, two strikers off at half time.
Aye,
Like the ones with pace. Shankland just went, take me off. Like, can he run that far? Take a
aye,
penalty. I would talk
undone.
about them too much, but I mean, they're just, aye, they're shite, and they can't accept it.
Aye, somebody it was on Hibsnet. There was a good thread about it, and they made the point about Rangers going down to 10 men against Aberdeen last week. Aberdeen was shite as well. Rangers went down to 10 men. They were 2-0 down at half time.
Mhm.
He came back and got a point. Then the reference Maloney when the Newell got sent off in their semi final against them as well. We didn't go and park the bus and hope to get to penalties. We were a better
Aberdeen beat
team after
us
it. Aye,
last
Aberdeen
year
beat
with
us
10
last
men.
year. Yeah. Anyway, so in terms of obsession, aye, probably is eeksy peeksy.
Mm.
But I think the difference is that we're a bit more humble with it. Ours is more a ridicule thing.
and
I'd like to
and
think.
I get what he's saying about the name thing though. I never ever call them that fucking daft nickname that runs about in Hibs.net. And I've heard people saying it in the flesh. Like, I've seen it written down a lot. I'd even write it down. And I've heard folks saying it. I always cringe a wee bit. When
Aye,
somebody says it out loud. That's the yams thing. That one.
yeah. All right, Bingo 70 on Hibsnet. Speaking of Hibsnet, said wanted us to talk about the positive impact Malky Mackay has had on the club. In-depth analysis on the big game. Neil Critchley has won as Hearts manager. And on a related note, I used to enjoy debates with Colin on here about the importance of winning big games when Jack Ross was manager. Looking at our results in the big games this season, does he now accept I was right? So let's start on that one, Colin. Do you now accept having had a season as on track for finishing third, which would equal Jack Ross's time, but with big game wins? Do you have you changed your view on it at all?
Well, it definitely brings a better feeling about the place, doesn't it? Because, like, we might not even finish third, and yet we'll probably say it was a better season. Like people said when we finished fourth under Lennon, it was better than finishing third under Jack Ross. Because you chuck in a defeat to Rangers or Celtic or Hearts, but I think we probably beat Jack Ross beat Hearts as well, and it didn't count because they were bottom of the league that year or something. You know what I mean? It was like one of the ones that we didn't count it as a big game because they're not good enough. And I think my debate with Bingo on there was more around, oh, it's a big game then. Was Aberdeen was a big game? Nah, it isn't, because they're not very good, right? So it's only Rangers Celtic then.
Aye,
That was half the battle, and it was like we finished third, but fourth was seen as a better season under Lennon because we beat Rangers a couple of times. And that
that's
was
fair.
where I was a wee bit, but it does make you feel better about it. Winning derbies, winning at Ibrox, beating
Mhm.
Celtic at Easter Road, we beat them all. It's good. Beat Aberdeen, home and away. Um, Aye, it's good. But
I
like,
don't
we're not in a better place yet than we were when we never won any big games and finished third.
know. I know, but I do think it makes a difference. That, like you said, definitely feels better. You have the more memorable moments. I think that's like
Aye,
we'll get to the end of this season and we'll reflect on winning at
that's it.
Ibrox, the
Spot on.
Derby wins, beating
Yep,
Celtic at Easter Road, beating drawing with Rangers, the 3-3, the 3-3 by Aberdeen, beating Aberdeen.
yep.
Um, all these big games will leave you feeling good about it, and it
Aye,
definitely makes a difference. And although it's still the same 3 points as it is for when you beat Ross County or like Motherwell,
Hamilton.
or I
But
like no
but
to be
that's
dismissive of these teams, but
aye. No, I agree. I agree with that, and I understand that. But I mean, as I say, and you can see that that actually happens because folk still preferred Lennon's season.
mhm.
But we came fourth.
Right, what about the positive impact Malky Mackay's had on the club? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think like, and I don't know how much his input has, but obviously his remit appears to be all the football stuff. The under 18s are top of the league. The women are top of the league. The men are, well, top of
Third.
the league that you're in, right? Like you're not in the league with the top two, really,
Mhm.
So they're all achieving as much as the best position really they can in reality. Um, whether he's how much input, if he's had enough time yet, because I think our argument at the start of the year when everybody was wanting him out because we were losing games, was that he's not had time yet to actually embed, you know, the ideas he's got, the changes he's want to make to all the different, because his remit will be you remind me, right, facilities, medical, statistics, playing, scouting, all
Yeah.
that. Like we've probably not actually seen a lot of the changes yet. Certainly the scouting and that, because that's what we'll see in the summer. Like
Mhm.
he's had a whole year to set a scouting team up for the guys to go and analyse the players they want to go and watch, then to go and watch them, then to go and identify them and then do the deal, right? So we've not seen that yet. But look at the job he done just with his eyes in the summer.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess once you add in the other stuff, that should make it even better.
I think with Malcolm Mackay, I agree. And I think we were right to make the point that it takes time for him to impact these things. It's also quite hard to um, sort of like how do you measure the impact of that? Because is it David Gray? Like if you look at the men's team, is it David Gray that's
Yeah,
responsible for that? Is it Gareth Evans with the academy? And if you're giving it to Malky Mackay, do you then extend that to say, well, it's Ian Gordon as well with Ben Kensell from when he was here? Do you know, like as things had started to turn around, would folk extend the credit there? Probably not in the latter's case. But I think there's definitely signs of change. Like I think in January, the fact that we only brought in one player in Mane and had the wherewithal to go, right, it's not been great up till now. Things have started to change. Let's not rip it up and start again in January and try to bring in 6 or 7 players to save the season. And the fact that we kept Gray through that hard time as well, because I think Malky would undoubtedly have been a supportive voice in that conversation. I think that's where you can sort of say there's probably a direct impact from him. Um,
yeah,
but I think you'll need to really look at the oh, fuck's sake, trajectory of the club over the next year and a bit to see how much impact and what actually changes. But of course, then we'll have a new CEO in as well, and they'll start to get the credit for or the blame for
yeah.
whatever's happening.
Whatever happens next,
Depending on how it goes. Um, but I don't think you can avoid giving anybody at the club credit at the moment because of the way things have panned
yeah,
out. Uh, I mean, Stevie Coraz has just said there, what praise does Liam Craig get? And I would lump him in that with that as well. I think if you take the whole coaching team, we don't know individually what they do, but you would have to say that virtually every player has improved from the start of the season till now, and that has to be down to the coaches.
yeah. Aye, yeah, because that was, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. And you don't know what to do. Mine that was always where we were early in the year. It was like everybody was getting the blame because nobody knew, and it's almost like that. But it's a collective praise now, then, isn't it? Because we
Yeah.
don't know. They all do their own job. They're all doing it. I mean, we've spoke about the coaches before. Like, well, they only got the job because the manager's pal, but they are making the players better. Like
Mhm.
it's similar players to what we hear last year. that everybody wanted. I say everybody, most people, if not all, was willing to do a mass clear out about
Yeah,
October, November. That was the chat. It's coming in the summer. Can we wait till the summer? We need to start doing it earlier. Let's clear them out. Now we were able to re-sign them all. Um, so they've made them guys better.
aye,
Whether it's motivationally, the coaching, telling them how to, instructions are given, I don't know, but yeah, they've all got to take their share. Mind when we lost the goal, it was like David Gray was getting the blame last season because it was a corner and he was somebody made up that he was a set piece coach or something.
yeah. BS44 said, "What does the club now need to do to ensure that this season is not a one-off, and that we instead of the path of continuous performance, or I think we're instead on the path of continuous performance improvement? Is it
Yeah,
just about investment, or do other things need to happen now?" So yeah, how do we keep the upward trajectory and not make it a one-off?
and so consistently qualifying for Europe brings money in, right? And that gives more money to to be able to do it. Winning these games then brings more fans in, so more money. What we need to do is not be doing mass clearance all the time and get to the point where you've got that much turnaround that you never know. Like we've got 40 players in the boots, we don't even know who some of them are. You know what I mean? And you just build and make it better. Like you're not changing 11 players to build a new team. You're going, and this is where I'm going here with the team. Like you're looking at it and everybody's like, just re-sign the team again. Like give Rocky a deal, give Boyle a deal, give Miller a deal, sign the Cardinals, all that. And you go, so just want the same team next year. How you get better is by getting somebody in that's better than what we've already got and gradually improving it without upsetting the dynamic of the team and all that.
Hmm.
But if you're only doing one or two or three of that, that's how you would do that, and that's how you would continually get better. They would drive the standard up even higher again than the boys that they've already got them to where they are, and that's how you continually improve. But football fans don't like change, like right, so that they want to be better all the time. But then what? Look at it now. Like you look at the stuff, the tweets we were getting in, the message we got in. Just re-sign them all.
Hmm.
4 months ago, they would have drove them there. You know what I mean? So
Aye.
it's like didn't he change too much at once? That's what we need to do, and that's how you look at Man United when they were good. And I know it's Man United we're talking about. They would just go to Jap Sam, see you, pal. I'm signing Vidic or whoever it was replaced them. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but Paul in, see you, you're out because you had somebody else better coming in. And everyone's like, "Fucking hell, let Paul Ince go.
They're
He's just
just
going to be better."
ruthless with it.
Aye, and that's how you get better by actually being willing to make tough decisions and getting somebody better than say Rocky or Miller.
Mhm. I think a big thing, and this is hopefully where Malky and the work with the Black Knights comes in, is that we see through a plan. Like we spoke about that before as well, isn't it? It was like having that consistency and the foresight to sort of go, right, well, these are the things that we need to do to get better, and doing them and learning as you go, but sort of keeping that strategy
Yeah,
in place to and seeing it through to the end,
yeah,
or
because
kind
that's
of
where we
constantly
kept
evolving it.
absolutely because that's what we used to. We're chopping and changing it all the time.
Mhm.
Mind we spoke about it. So you go back and listen to it once for about 6 months ago, and we were talking about it was even the recruitment of a manager. It was like chopped that whatever it was chopped and changed every time. So there was no consistency of that kind of stuff. So I think that's how you. I think you continually improve it by bit at a time.
Mhm. Agreed. Um, GB Heavy said, "What is the expectations points wise from the next two games, and the importance of getting our transfer business done early in the next window?" So, next two games, Colin, just give a number points wise.
Well, we've just done it on. You need to sign up for extra time.
Are
So
you
there.
keeping that embargoed for the subscribers?
Well, well, they've paid their money.
Fair enough. All right, I'll not give away any spoilers then.
I don't
Uh,
think we can lose either of them. I think we need to get something out of them.
aye. Right, and then the importance of getting our transfer business done early in the next window. So we've got Manny in already in January. We've got McGrath tied up. Who I thought did quite well yesterday when he came on, supplied the cross for Aberdeen's winner. Um, Cadden signed an extension. I've heard, and I don't know how accurate it is, but I think Miller's going to get extended as well. Don't know what's happening with Boyle. I don't know what's happening with Rocky. but it looks like we are at least sort of planning ahead. Is it important that we get it done early? Like, it obviously looks like they're trying to get stuff done early, and Malky talked about the importance of pre-contracts and that.
I think so. Like I do, because like they start pre-season will start like 2 months time or something. June. She slept at the 15th of June or
Aye,
round about, and we often go in just for the same bodies that have left that are still under contract here, and then we start adding as they go and get everybody in. If we can get everybody in early, training together, build that all at the same level, fitness wise, and all the team building stuff. But then if we're going to just re-sign everybody, I don't know if we'll have many to sign in the summer.
aye, and I don't think we'll be looking for a much bigger squad either. Like,
That's
I
what I
think
mean.
we're in a really good position that if you can get with four tops, like really, really good players. If you say right, we keep what we've got and add four,
I think we're going to need strikers
uh
because I think Boyle might go right. So if not, if he stays, he stays. And then you've got Hoylett and Gale and Kukarevich are likely to go. So I think we're
Yuan
a bit
probably
short.
likely to go as well.
And Ewan, I think we're a bit short there. So if anything, that's where we would be looking to sign players, which is a wee change for like we were, because then now we're talking about Bill Levitt's decent. Because he's had a good month anyway, but he's been
Mhm.
in the team for a bit longer than that. But that's what I mean about that short term. If we want to get better, like, is that what we need? He's had a good month this season. Season's about 9, 10 months long.
Aye. And Giannis is the other one to talk about. Do you think there's any chances keeping Giannis?
I can't see it. I mean, Sunderland will maybe be in the playoffs. I think I'm not sure actually, because they lost at the weekend there, where they are in the league now. But if they're in the championship, I think they might give them a bash. If they get promoted, I think they might want to sell, but I don't think we would be able to stretch to what they were looking for money
Mm.
wise.
Aye. I think Giannis will have enjoyed the season here and will probably want to step up a level, I would think, whether
Yeah.
that's at Sunderland or whatever. But I like to think his agent was talking about him needing to be the main man somewhere next season.
Uh-huh.
Now, if we get group stage European football, that might be enough for him to say, well, I
Yeah.
know I'm going to be main man at Hibs, so stay and play at a higher level, and which I think would be good for him. I think John McGinn is a good example of a player that timed his exit just right for when he went
Aye.
for Hibs. He obviously kind of hit a level where he was by far and away our best player, and he stayed a bit longer just to keep developing before making the move. But he got absolutely the right move for him,
Yeah.
and probably for Hibs as well. So I think Channis could maybe look at McGinn as a bit of a blueprint for how he develops. And I don't think an extra season at Hibs would hurt him at all. Green Reaper said Europa League versus Conference League. Which one would be best for us if we do get third? Europa would you could end up getting some scuddings and unlikely to progress out of the group. Conference would give us a better chance to get to the knockout rounds. Roughly the same money for wins and draws in both. However, 3.6 million just for qualifying for Europa would make any scuddings worth it.
Aye. I know. It would be more attractive fixtures as well. But obviously with that big risk there, what's mentioned, and that's where negativity starts breeding though, as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, if you were taking a 5-0 at home on the Thursday and then you go and drop points at St Johnstone on the Sunday,
Aye,
but wouldn't be maybe no St Johnstone based on what we're seeing this season. But you know what I
it's
mean,
true.
like
Yeah.
whoever it is, Ross County or somebody, like one of these tough games to follow at a doing, and then it could quickly um, accumulate pace that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, it'd be exciting. But mind well, let with Villa, and then you turn up and go, "Oh, maybe we can give them a game," and then you watch 2 minutes and you go,
Aye,
"Yeah, no chance," and it would be like 6 games like that.
aye. I think the Europa is where it's almost like if that's where you want to be, do you build up for it and go like conference for a couple of seasons? Let's again
Yeah.
get carried away, but let's assuming that we would do it season on season. I know it's difficult to do, but if you were to do that a couple of times and then make you've got the money, you've been able to build the squad over those couple of years, you're a bit better equipped to go into
Mhm.
Europa. Or do you say like, well, it doesn't really matter if the first season and it's going to be a sore one. We'll go in, do our best. We'll try to build the squad enough that it's not going to get absolutely horsed. But then if we can repeat it, then you're almost trying to kind of just get your foot in the door at that higher level and then establish yourself at that you know at that level.
I know it depends. I mean, the amount of money difference you would make out of it. I don't know if you get. I know there was some numbers rattled off there, but assuming you didn't win any games there and you win, does the wins here balance out the extra money you get for getting in the Europa, winning games in the conference? So you better just be in the conference and winning more games, not all of them, because there'll still be tough games in there, obviously as well. I mean, Hearts got a few skidding, so did Aberdeen. So I don't know, like it is. I would rather be in the Europa, right? But I think there could be a lot of negativity. There would definitely be negativity in the on BBC Sports Round and all of that. About how quick they are to hammer us when they seem to praise others for it. Like no, but not coming back to Hearts, but yesterday 8 players. I seen Dave Graham, one of your subscribers, pulling Barry Anderson up about it. 8 players getting credit in a game when you just fucking lined the goal line to try and not be
Aye,
beat. Um, and but when if that was us, we seem to get a bit more quicker to get negative press, like that thing you shared earlier on with me about Hibs relying on their shareholders because they're £7.2 million loss, sort of style
mm-hmm.
the way the article slanted. It's actual factual, but how's it any different to them or them?
Aye,
Yeah. So I think if we were getting a doing, they'd be like almost laughing at us every Thursday night.
aye.
And then we as fans listen to that and start repeating it,
Take it to
believing it.
heart. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you'd rather be there. I would rather be at the top table, which is the Champions League, right? Obviously, I'd love us to be in the Champions League, but we're some way off of that. But I'd love us to be in Europa and give it a good go. I think that's the ambition for Black Knight and like Ron Gordon when he came in. That was where he wanted us to be
Yeah.
at that point as well. So I don't think it's outlandish. Hearts and Aberdeen obviously want to be there as well. And obviously, you can't get there if you're in the bottom six, and that's just facts. Like if you're getting papped
Mm.
out of cups and you're no getting in the top six, you can't get in any of the European competitions.
No.
Um, Even if you do welcome the chase, like as they talked about.
Yeah.
Um, but Aberdeen will be looking at it with the exact same sort of plan as us. That if you can get in there and stay there, then it's very quickly you build up a financial gap over the rest of the league outside the Rangers and Celtic. I think I'd rather be in Europa and see how we get on, and just fuck it. If we get a couple of
It's,
scudders,
it's,
you just accept that's where you are, and
uh,
it'll not be like that forever. Right, go back to YouTube. So a wee bit earlier in the episode, Chris said he was speaking to Ollie Shaw and ex-Jambo Scott Robinson as Pape bulleted in his header. I think him who Pape is or what game that was. Peter Fald said Dylan Tate would have also been involved in that Wraith Falkirk game.
aye.
Dylan Tate was a funny one as well. Like came a lot of hype and like I've got a
Yeah.
friend who's a Wraith fan, and I asked him about Dylan Tate. He's like, "Oh, you want to watch pretty
Aye.
much."
I meant you telling me, aye. Aye.
Uh, then the kick a ball for us. Stevie says McCurdy joins the likes of Tavares and Venti for me. Absolute waste of time and money. Fair play though. McCurdy had issues with his health. Green Tea said I'd have liked to have kept Dabrowski. Right, question for Stevie. What's the greatest Hibs game you've been to? Obviously, the 2016 final aside. And his personal favourite is the New Year Derby 2-1 with Harper's volley. So, Colin, not cup final win notwithstanding, or the 2016 cup final notwithstanding. What's your greatest game you've been to?
Eh, I always like derby wins. The one that sticks in, it wasn't for any, never got anything for it, but when Shields and O'Connor scored at Tynecastle on the Wednesday
Aye,
night,
aye,
that sticks out, but I can't remember why. I think we just lost the semi-final. Did we get beat with Dundee United maybe at the weekend in the Scottish Cup, and then we went there and they were obviously giving it the however many 100 years it was at the point and all that, um, and then beat them 2-1. I think that might game. I can't remember if it was the same game, and Gordon went to kick the ball out and Riordan nicked it off him. But obviously he got booked for it for
ah,
unsportsmanlike and all that.
I mind if that was the same one.
But
Um,
yeah, that sticks out. But I'm sure there's better, more meaningful games. I mean, the League Cup final was good in 2007, obviously as well. When you win a cup, it's always and it was a nice
aye,
easy. I remember that standing there. Was I standing with you? We were on the same bus, but I can't remember if it was sitting beside you or no. But when we went 3-1, they scored to be 3-0 up, and then they went 3-1. come on, like I thought we were getting nervous or in there.
We
I'm
were
like,
panicking,
what
aye.
the fucking man? It's like we're cruising. Like that's what fucking happened. The negativity is incredible sometimes.
Aye, it's funny how it happens. I wonder if every team's like that. If everybody like they're 3-0 up and then all of a sudden it goes 3-1 and you think, oh fuck, here we go.
Aye.
Um, I probably I was just say the 5-1 or the Skull Cup win in '91 was a good one
Mm.
to be at. Like it wasn't my first time at Hampden. Funnily enough, I think the first time at Hampden it was on. There was a thread about Hillsborough on Hibsnet, and
Aye.
Hibs played Celtic. I think it was the next day at Hampden. I,
That wouldn't
I,
happen nowadays, would it? That game
nah,
would be off.
I think that was my first trip to Hampden. I
Aye.
remember going. We've obviously lost Scudded, but I think that was the first time I went to Hampden. Um,
Yeah.
that was my favourite game, obviously. I probably the 5-1 uh, League Cup final.
Aye. Yeah.
Aye. Crookie was said that one about his dad blaming Alec Miller for a bad derby record. Chris said going to Tiny just after they had the massive investment from SMG or whoever, and we pumped them 3-0. Stevie said some record for Gray versus the Scumbos that. Chris said Gray must have a good record against the Zombies as well. I think he probably will have, eh?
Yeah.
Stevie says Devlin's a little rat. He's the in the black and Bruno moulds. He reminds me a lot of Ian Black. I think of this because he's wee and nippy. Chris said Devlin knows exactly what he was doing. He sees his Aberdeen boy coming and then fakes injury.
He booted him in the boot. He did boot him in, like
If volleyed
he,
him right in the
he
leg, eh? Like,
on the foot, on the boot.
aye,
He's so it's boot to boot. So it's just one of them, eh? But Hibs women player got booked for these almost similar thing they do though. It's like normally a yellow card.
aye. WTO rules said we've been spoiled up to now with great form and winning the big games, but I'm sure Sir David Gray would agree we haven't won anything. Tam, here's a question: have the Black Knights had a similar impact in Mackay since we stopped keeping them at arm's length? What are your thoughts on that, Colin? There's some folk that want the Black
Yeah,
Knights to be kept at arm's length, and there's other folk who are kind of really keen for them to get really involved.
it's hard to say like where we are with it. I mean, they're there. They seem to be speaking. Gray and Mackay have been down at various places like to see them. I think the guy was up here.
Mhm.
So they're doing stuff, whether it's stuff for now though, or if it's like longer term things, I don't know. But I didn't really understand. Like, I would take any help we can get. I didn't really understand the pushing them away. Like,
The resistance.
aye, uh they might be shite for us. Like, we don't know that. They've not been shite for Bournemouth, but like, try and see what happens. Eh? Like, you can only if it doesn't work and it's not getting better, we've still got the control of the club that we can say it's not working for us. But they need no try it.
Aye. I think that point you made there is important. The fact that Hibs still have sort of first dibs on what happens to Hibs, as has been made very clear by Tim Bezbatchenko as well, who's the president of the Black Knights. Like it's not a case of
Yeah,
them telling us what we need to do. The example he used was if if they had plans for a player in the group that they felt would benefit them to come to Hibs, if Hibs wanted a different player for that position, then the move wouldn't happen for the
aye.
group. They would
Aye,
have
it's
to
probably
find
the
something
goalie,
else. Aye,
wasn't it?
aye, they'd have to find
Yeah,
something else to do with their player. Hibs' priorities would trump theirs in that case. So I feel comfortable with how it sits. I think you look at Bournemouth; they had a record points total this season, beating last season's, which was the previous record. So they're obviously kind of going in the right direction. I think a lot of good things are happening in Bournemouth. It
I
looks
think they
like a
can
good,
still qualify for Europe as well. I wasn't
aye,
sure. Yeah.
it looks like a good blueprint to follow.
Uh-huh.
And I think if you've got that support there and those resources available, you'd be fucking stupid not to welcome them with open arms. Really, that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
Uh, Paul on Twitter said, right, is Boyle moving on in the summer? So what do you reckon with Boyle, Colin? What's your gut telling you?
I think he is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and his wife are out of contract. I don't think that's not deliberate. I
Hmm.
think he's obviously wanting to get to the 100 this season. Like he mentioned on the Hibees buzz, he was quite greedy at times in the last game because he's trying to get shot away when it's maybe not the best option because he wants to get the 100 before he goes. There's not been any talk about a deal, I think. You know, where there's talk of other ones and you hear,
Aye,
oh, he's maybe saying, I've heard you said about Miller, or you know, we've got the other deals done. I think there's every chance he's got his move to maybe Australia lined up.
Did you see the picture of him and McGinn at the Villa
Aye.
game?
He looked massive, Megan.
McGinn, aye. It was a weird photo. We weren't sure if it was just like he had baggy clothes on or whatever, but
Yeah.
he looked fucking significantly bigger
Yeah.
than
That's what I don't
Mark Boyle did.
understand, right? So that's what I think. We have players in the academy, back to that, who never make the breakthrough, right? But the English players, like you see, look at the size of McGinn now he's doing there because they've got him maybe on the supplements doing the weights and all that.
Mm.
Why are we not getting that done to your laddies at 14, 15, 16 and get them so they are like a man when they're 17 and 18? Because we've got wee waifs, and that's how they're not ready first team. We'll need to send them out on loan to some shite team in the third division. And then when they didn't go and bang them in down there against big gadgets, proper big gadgets that'll kick them up and down, we just release them. But I mean, it's like
I
we
think
need
it's a money thing. Just like we can't afford to do it. Like I don't know how much it costs to do all these things for like a team of youth players, or do you pick
we've
at
got guys that do strength and conditioning. We've got guys that are full time
aye,
job on the Hibs books that do it.
but I mean you talk about like supplements and all this kind of stuff
Aye,
as well.
yeah,
So obviously the club would pay for that.
aye.
Do you pick your three or four most likely ones? Because like in a youth team, you've got like out of that team, you can know all like say your youth squad's 18 players or 19 players or whatever.
Yeah,
Most of those 18 are not going to get anywhere near the first team.
yeah,
So they're there really to support the development of the two or three that
yeah. The
are
others,
like.
aye.
So do you take those two or three and say, you are the most likely to get through? You just can get it. We'll give you the supplements and pay for whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. It depends how much it costs. I guess that would be a job for Malky Mackay to be involved in that thing. I mean, I just think, I don't know. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying we've got wee laddies. They're playing under 18s and they're flying against under 18s.
Hmm.
But they're not big enough. They're not strong enough. They're not powerful enough. So that's all in our gift. Like
Yeah, totally.
that isn't something that you need to. You didn't. You didn't need to be good to train hard.
Right. On the topic of things that cost money, right? And we've got a question for Scott Miller. Scott obviously appointed to the board of the HSL. Um, he says if you've got 5 minutes to see, we'd love to hear thoughts on HSL and what especially would encourage fans to contribute. So if it helps for questions, so something like more visible income going into the club, either for HTC youth sponsorship, stadium upgrades. Would it help to build a reserve fund for the future share issues or a mixture of the above? And he gave some examples. So like Aberdeen have got just shy of 7,000 for their Aber DNA. Hearts have about 8,000 for Freedom of is it Foundation of Hearts? And HSL
Save
would
Hearts in trouble, is it
aye,
not?
Save Hearts in Trouble. Aye. Um, HSL at 700, to give you an idea of the difference
I
in
know,
scale. So
and
what
that's the thing. Cause so on that, I mean, I don't think at the beginning. I think that they almost need a relaunch,
mhm,
like in some way, because the reason or excuse that we always got told like Hearts were gone bust if they never signed up to it. Aberdeen weren't they? But
mhm,
they've got so there must be some kind of relaunch now. Aberdeen's one's a bit different, because they get other benefits, but it's more aligned to the club, whereas we
aye.
try to be independent. I just don't think it was launched, communicated very well. Like the benefits sold to
Mhm.
the masses almost off it. We had the chance to buy a seat on the board as a fan base,
Yeah.
and as a fan base, we collectively decided we didn't want it. But then when we wanted Mary I say, we didn't get it because we didn't want it.
Hmm.
So it was almost like that wasn't. I don't know if that was like explained well enough. I don't know, but Hearts runs an easy one, right? We're going bust, give us fucking money, and then it's a
Aye.
case of keeping them on board. But what did Aberdeen do? That's what I'd maybe look at. Well, how did they pitch it? What did they give? What did fans get for it? Mind we had the 100, even the 100 loyalty points. Fucking folk went mental because they got knocked off the top of the league table of the best supporter list and that. And it was like that. That needs nobody lost as far as I know out on a ticket because of that. But the loyalty points guys that were really keen on being at the top of the loyalty points were raging
Hmm.
because you got, I can't remember, it was 100, 500 more or
I'm sure it
something.
was 100. I think it was 100 they added to everybody's total.
But I'm pretty sure nobody lost at the ticket because of it, because there wasn't enough folk fucking signed up.
Mm.
Yeah. But it's almost like you need to look at, so that's negativity around it though. That's what I'm getting at. That there was stuff that got done that was negative. It didn't get explained well. and it's almost like, it had Dempster in it on the board there, didn't it? On the chair. They were in.
Aye, there was like a lot of
It was a wee bit like, is this a club? Is it no? What are they trying? They just try to scam money at us. Mind you, had the wee group that were the negativity around it, saying it was a Ponzi scheme and all that. You know what I mean? It was like nobody really understood
mm,
the purpose and all that. So it's almost like, if Scott's listening, which I'm sure he must be if he's asked the question, relaunch it, explain it better, give the benefits of it. What's the payoff?
I've always think like the idea of membership works well for a football club. And I reckon why we didn't do it or haven't capitalised on it most. I think the Aberdeen one is a good example where you chuck in extra benefits, etc., and you have people paying over and above the season ticket. Now, I'm sure I asked back at the time it was launching why they don't just offer an option with the season ticket. You could tick, there's my
Aye.
season ticket, and I'll take my season ticket plus an HSL membership. And whether it was to do with independence and being able to separate the payments, whether it was to do with tax or fuck knows, I can't remember the
There was
ins and
loads
outs
of,
of
mind
it.
there was loads of payments getting failed and all that and everything.
Aye,
It was a
there's
bit shambolic, amateurish almost at times, some of the stuff at the beginning.
mm, the it was all over the place. Like I think it's good people that are on board with it. I've got a lot of time. Like we've had on the podcast, we've had Jim Eddie came on, great episode, came on talked through the benefits of HSL, makes a really compelling case for it. But I don't think it landed enough. Like you almost have to, for it to work, you have to have like that emotional need for it. Like it just has to connect with people enough for them to go, right, that touches me enough that I want to go and buy it. Right, I
Mhm.
want to spend over and above what I spend on my season ticket every season. Crucially, it has to be value for money, and I think that's where HSL failed because nobody really, well, not nobody, right? Because it's got 700 members, but I don't think it was enough to have a certificate to say you're a member, and you're a member of HSL, which owns a bit of the club.
Mhm.
I think that's not necessarily value for money for the amount of money you put into it. The Aberdeen, if you're getting things like excuse me, I think it's like discounts on strips, or maybe you get a strip or something like that, a free ticket once a season, or
Yeah.
priority for big games. I don't ken what they package into it. But you look at Hibs first. Hibs first, I think, sold out 50 quid that folk were happy just to
They
put down in.
they have the names up on the training ground at Aberdeen's Cormac Park.
Right.
They've got like wee plaques on the Aberdeen logo sort of thing
So
and all these kinds of
something
things.
for it. So I think if you do that and you make it something like Hibs TV, Hibs TV is massively underutilized. I think I've
Aye.
been making like a stuck record talking about the case for like a wider like
Well, mind
SPFL
we got
TV.
it in lockdown, eh? They gave us sort of in
Aye,
lockdown.
but if you had like you get Hibs TV, you get like the additional content they make programs for it. And there were no
Aye.
HSL on the like if you're paying for that, that costs the club money to produce. So you can't give all that money to HSL. But if you say, well, HSL are indirectly going to give that money to the club anyway,
Mhm.
you can set it up in a way that it doesn't cost the club anything.
Yeah.
HSL maybe cover the cost of it, but it's a benefit because you're getting the other. I think how you work it out, right? But things like that, I think they need to kind of get creative, get a really compelling membership package together that you get something tangible for, and then get a really good reason why it's important to do it. Um, and I think that's the Green Tea's made a good point there. So when the Gordons took over, there was no option to buy further shares, so I
Yeah.
stopped donating to HSL. I don't recall not wanting someone on the board, um, and I think that's right. So I think had it been like an indefinite, you could have kept buying the shares. We would
Yeah.
have eventually got there. Like the HSL members would have eventually paid in enough to get enough shares to get somebody on the board.
That was Phil Farmer was there though, wasn't it? That deal. So when he sold it, it was almost like, well, you've not bought it. You're too late.
Aye, that's it. We didn't. There wasn't enough people wanted it
Yeah.
by the time that the Gordons took over, and that's what kind of didn't quite kill HSL dead because obviously it's still on
Uh,
the go. And
but for that
uh,
reason, like
aye,
Green Tea said,
yeah. So I think there's
some kind of
that's what I
relaunch.
would do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like aye,
required. Yeah, it's like um, you couldn't. I'm trying to think. There was other reasons. Like you say, it was trying to be a separate entity to the club. So then for tax things and all that, but then you had Dempster on both, then you were like,
Mhm.
you had the Ponzi scheme chat, and then you had the lot of the points scandal, when and all that, and it's like it was too messy. Like
Mhm.
draw it out, saying here's what we've got to do, here's what we want to do it for, and that was some of the questions Scott asked. What do you want? Like I don't know what I would want. I think I'd like somebody on the board, like, but then I'd like I don't know the right person on the board, like
Mhm.
because I think we've got some variety in our fan base beliefs and what they want and all that. But then I also want like to see a youth academy product. Like, so do they put money into the youth academy? Do they say it's that we'll fund that? Do we fund the fucking supplements? I don't know. Like, what is it? Like, what do they want to? Because I feel like we bring some money in, and it's just like, well, we'll keep that in the bank for if we can buy some shares in the future,
Mhm.
but we might not get to.
It's not that compelling. Why?
Aye,
I, I, I
definitely.
even I even think like so just from like a purely logistic thing, right? So if you look at the Black Knights want to invest, they're capped at 30%. So when they hit that 30%, right, if and when they can't put any other money in unless other folk are also buying shares. So you would want HSL to be in a position to say, well, we'll buy the other shares at that point, so then we didn't get
Yeah,
diluted.
to dilute it. Yeah, yeah,
Aye. And
yeah.
it means BKFC can go and put extra money in without them exceeding the 30%. It
Hmm.
just sort of enables all these things to happen. There's
Yeah,
definitely reasons to do it. I'm really interested. I think it's good that the HSL have got uh, new blood on board, like new eyes on it to kind of
yeah.
refresh it. Right, we're out of time on that one. I've had another question that I was going to pick up. We were going to look at the team of the week, Colin, but I think we'll
Aye,
we'll
give it
uh,
another
we'll
time.
maybe keep that for another time.
Aye,
Team of the
that
year,
next
not
week.
the team of the week. Aye. Guys, so sorry if we never got to all your points. Thanks for sending them in, whether that was on the bounce, whether it was on Hibsnet or Twitter or on Blue Sky. If you want more of this content, we're back with extra time tomorrow. You can get that either by joining as a YouTube member or going to our Patreon and signing up. There is also the option to sign up as to remove the adverts as well on Patreon if the adverts are annoying for £1.50 plus VAT. I think you get ad free too, but you as well just go into the full £3 for it. Anyway, right. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and we will see you all next time.